Today, we're diving deep into the massive high-stakes battle over Herbalife. So, is it a legitimate path to the American dream, or is it one of the biggest, most sophisticated pyramid schemes in history? This whole story is about huge money, incredible promises, and even bigger questions.
And you know, this wasn't just some boardroom disagreement. Nope. This was an all-out public war. You had Wall Street titans on one side, federal regulators on the other, and caught right in the middle, the dreams of millions of everyday people just trying to start a business. And it all came down to one explosive question. And this is it. This is the question at the heart of the entire controversy. Is Herbalife an innovative company that empowers people to become their own boss, or is it a deceptive system that's actually designed to profit from its own distributors? Believe me, the answer is way more complicated than you'd think.
If you want to understand just how serious this got, you really only need to see one number: $200 million. That is the massive amount of money Herbalife was ordered to pay back to the people who lost out. A number that big tells you that, yeah, something was seriously wrong here. Okay, so first, let's look at Herbalife's side of the story, the dream they're selling. The company pitches itself as this incredible vehicle for financial freedom, for personal empowerment. And you have to admit, it's a really powerful and attractive story. But how's it all supposed to work? Well, Herbalife's business model is called multi-level marketing, or MLM for short. And in theory, it seems pretty straightforward. As an independent distributor, you make money in two basic ways. First, by selling products directly to customers, and second, by recruiting other people to become distributors and then earning a little piece of what they sell.
And look, on paper, the path to success looks so simple. You sign up, you buy some products to sell, you find customers for those products, and then you build your own team. This simple four-step promise is the very core of the Herbalife dream, and it's what makes it feel so achievable to pretty much anyone.
And this quote right here, it just perfectly sums up the company's entire pitch. They're not just selling you protein shakes, they're selling you a dream. The dream of being your own boss, of taking charge of your own financial destiny. But then there's the other story. A completely different version of reality where that beautiful dream turns into a financial nightmare for a whole lot of people. This is where the whole pyramid scheme allegation really takes center stage.
So here's the absolute heart of the allegation. The critics say the real money isn't made from selling products to your neighbors or friends. Instead, the whole system is built to reward distributors for recruiting an endless chain of new members below them. See, in a legit MLM, the profit comes from sales. But in an illegal pyramid scheme, it comes from recruitment. The billion-dollar question was, which one was Herbalife?
Now, this whole debate just absolutely exploded into the mainstream because of one guy, an activist investor named Bill Ackman. He made this huge $1 billion bet that Herbalife's stock would collapse. And then he went on a very, very public crusade to expose what he called the best-managed pyramid scheme in the history of the world. And the data Ackman used was pretty shocking. Investigations showed that the overwhelming majority of Herbalife distributors, we're talking like 90% or even more, were earning next to nothing. In fact, a lot of them were actually losing money once you factored in how much product they had to buy. The real money, the big profits, were all flowing to a tiny, tiny percentage of people at the very top of the pyramid.
So, with a billionaire investor on one side and a multi-billion-dollar company on the other, this fight got incredibly messy, as you can imagine. And eventually, a referee had to step into the ring. The U.S. Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, which is the country's top agency for protecting consumers. And all that public pressure really worked. Ackman kicked off his crusade back in 2012, and just 2 years later, the FTC officially opened its investigation. Then, by 2016, the whole battle hit its climax with that huge landmark settlement.
So what did the government's top investigators actually find after all that? Well, their conclusions were pretty damning. They found that Herbalife's business model was really built on rewarding recruiting, not selling products. They found the company made misleading claims about how much money people could make, and maybe most importantly, they concluded the whole structure caused substantial harm to the very people it claimed it was trying to empower.
Now here's a really crucial detail. The FTC stopped just short of officially calling Herbalife a pyramid scheme in their final report, but the ruling they handed down forced the company to completely change the way it does business, creating a whole new set of rules for the road. And these demands were designed to tear down that old system. That $200 million, that was for paying people back. But the real game changer was in the new rules.
From now on, Herbalife had to prove that its sales were going to real customers, not just other distributors loading up on inventory. And those days of promising fancy cars and mansions? Over. They were flat out banned from misrepresenting how much money people could earn.
And you know, the ripple effects went way beyond just Herbalife. This case basically set a new standard for the entire multi-level marketing industry. It moved the goalposts from a world of vague rules to one with much stricter oversight, with a brand new, intense focus on proving real retail sales and cracking down on those deceptive income claims.
Which, at the end of the day, leaves us with this final, critical question. The Herbalife case definitely drew a line in the sand, but the debate is far from over. At what exact point does an ambitious business opportunity cross that line and become an exploitative system? That's a question that regulators, companies, and maybe you, the consumer, are still trying to figure out today.